everyone, and welcome to Rosen Sports Sunday. The month of July is traditionally a pretty slow sports month. There is the anticipation of the Vikings' annual trek to training camp in Mankato, where we will be 2 weeks from tonight when we return to our normal time slot at 10:35. But this July, the local sports headliners have far and away been the Minnesota Wild. Their 4th of July blockbuster signings of free agents Zach Parise and Ryan Suter changed the face of this franchise. And with us in studio tonight, current Wild assistant coach, former Wild player who scored the first goal in franchise history, Darby Hendrickson. Welcome, Darby, to the show.
Nice to be here, Mark. Thanks for having me.
We chatted at the big news conference a week ago on Monday when the Wild officially introduced Parise and Suter that this was a transformational moment, and you know about this franchise history. In your wildest dreams, did you think this was going to happen at the start of free agency, that they'd land both of them?
Well, you know, I know there was a hope, and you never know. I mean, you're looking for character, you're looking for quality guys, and I know with Minnesota, there's a lot of good young players coming in. Everybody's excited, but you want to branch that connection with the core leadership guys that we have, and hopefully these top-end guys. And I think their connection here is significant in terms of people being aware of who these guys are. But I think just in terms of the world league part of our league, I mean, these guys are top-end and quality people and driven to want to be here. And
the stars obviously had to be aligned. The two had thought about the opportunity to play. Obviously, Zach played deep into the playoffs. Individually, they obviously bring a certain skill set to this team. But together, how do you quantify what they will mean to this Wild team, Darby?
You know, I say the word character and driven, and I think when you look at a team, I know just from the coaching angle in the background, guys who drive your team, I mean, Mikko Koivu comes to mind, and guys like Matt Cullen who are on our team, but you want the guys who can play big minutes, get big goals, but are driving your team, not only in the game, but every day in practice. They're affecting the young guys. Guys watch them, how they work.
Yeah, you mentioned it when we had that quick chat outside the news conference. Look at the crowd here last Monday.
Amazing.
It sort of makes everyone, and you as a former player yourself, look in the mirror and ask themselves, how can I improve my game being around these two guys?
Without a doubt. And you know, you talk about Sidney Crosby's and the elite of the elite in the game. These guys, I know every day how they approach practice games, off the ice, everything. Everybody watches, and they bring everybody to a higher level, and I think that's one of the big things with them coming in. They're going to bring every guy on our team to a higher level as well.
Well, Zach Parise is a relentless bulldog. We've seen it in the Olympics. We've seen it in the Stanley Cup playoffs. He mentioned he wants to be in the same line as Mikko Koivu. I guess he'd let that out there right away for Coach Mike Yeo to deal with.
Well, I mean, again, it's bringing guys to another level. Mikko's a great player on our team, and Zach can only. Mikko has an ability to go even to a higher level, and I think being around a guy like Zach is going to do that. And you talk about Ryan Suter. You watch some of these highlights, though, just Zach, and not only offensively is he driven and has had 40-plus goals in the league, but he comes back and competes defensively as well. And those type of things, again, players see it, and it rubs off on them. It's contagious, and when guys are competitive and in the game like they are, like Zach and Ryan, it's going to make us better.
Well, that's how you win playoff games. You mentioned Ryan Suter. He just patrols the blue line, doesn't sit down very often, and he's durable, which is what you really need in this league, especially given all the injuries this team had last year.
Yeah, he's durable and he's consistent. I think when we've played against Nashville, you just see how smart he is in subtle little ways. Just where he plays on the ice, how he uses his stick, and I think Mike Yeo was quoted as saying, you know, very good and efficient at getting pucks out of your zone, so you're not defending in your zone. You know, and that's one of the areas where it was more of a challenge last year, where we were in our zone a lot, and a guy like Ryan Suter is going to come in, make that first pass, and you're out of your zone.
But let's face it, the Wild needed to retool their farm system. It starts with that in order to compete in a very competitive Western Conference. They've done so. If it hadn't been for the signings of Parise and Suter, all the attention would have been on the arrival of Mikael Granlund of Finland. They're Bill Ballyhooed 2010 #1 draft choice. He's a huge star in Finland, even more so than Mikko Koivu. You've seen him at the developmental camp this week, and a lot of folks showed up just out of curiosity to see him play. As advertised, what do you like about him?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's a skilled, gifted, poised player. I mean, some of the highlights here, he just sees the ice so well. And again, you talk about some of the, like Zach and Ryan, they make better, you know, they make players around them better, but he has an ability to turn it on when he has to speed-wise, but he also can slow it down and make the subtle plays. And I think if you get him in the right situation with the right players, great things are going to happen. But again, only 20, and if these, you know, higher-end guys are coming in, I think that's going to take some of the attention off and allow him just to be himself, play, and come in naturally and show his skills.
Yeah, forget it. He's only 20. He's a natural center. That will be his position.
Yeah, I think right now the thought is for him to start at center, but he may play some wing, and a lot of this changes from training camp day to day. But that's where he's played throughout his career, where he has, I think, his vision, where he's able to see the game and be effective as a playmaker. But just incredible hands. Today at the development camp, he was, on shootouts and just moves that. I know I wish I could have done them in my day, but fun to watch him, and I know the fans are going to have a special treat with this guy.
You think of you think of Mikko Koivu's personality, really laid back, and yet the paparazzi apparently just love this kid much more so than anyone that's maybe think of all the great players who have come out of Finland, including they got a goaltender named Nicholas Backstrom as well, but they love this kid. He's a rock star.
He's got that that's what it's become for him over there. He won a world tournament when he was 19 years old and had a goal, almost lacrosse style, that I think they put on a stamp or something. But you know what? He loves the game, and I think he's handled those things well. And I think he'll do the same thing when he comes to Minnesota. He'll handle the transition here well as well.
Well, you think of all the moves the Wild had to make last year because of injuries. For the first time in years, it appears the Wild finally, Darby, will have the quality depth in the minor leagues to choose from when those injuries occurred. You're going to see some real battles for roster spots when training camp opens this year.
And that's a great point, Mark, because I think in the past years, it's maybe some guys are getting opportunities a little quicker than maybe they should. Now it's a challenge. Now guys have to come in and earn it. And I think the other thing you talk about bringing Zach and Ryan is it allows maybe some of these younger guys that we're seeing right here to maybe go play in the American League, which isn't a bad thing. Go down there, play, become a pro, learn what it's all about, and when the time is right, get called up. And a lot of times guys come in too early, they lose their confidence, they don't get off. But those signings and having that depth, and if those guys can go down there, maybe someone will make it. You talk about Gramland, but to have an opportunity just to be a pro and go to the American League could be good for a lot of these guys as well.
Who else turned heads out there this week? Hear about Coyle and a few other guys like that?
Yeah, Zucker was, has that jump and that dash.
Kid from Denver?
Yep. Brett Ballmer, who played about 9 games with us last year. Really good shape, looks good on the ice. To me, Jonas Brodin is, he's the first-round pick from 2 years ago. Very mobile defenseman, and he's got a real good chance to be, I think, make this team, but be real effective in the National Hockey League. Less
than a minute to go on this segment here. You look at LA winning the Cup, you got Phoenix, you got these Sun Belt teams winning. It's about time. Minnesota has to step up and do something here, Darby.
Well, and everybody wants that. And it is such a fine line of what it took for these teams to make it, get to the finals. You talk about LA just barely getting in on an 8th seed, but everything coming together. And for us, obviously, like last year, you want to get off to that good start. And for us, having some depth is going to help us sustain that and hopefully carry it through the year and get into the playoffs and go from there. But having these new guys, and everybody's excited. The coaches are excited. The fans are excited. So looking forward to it.
Forget you're still a coach. You're a coach.
I'm a coach, yeah.
That's a nice thing. Hey, don't go away. We have more hockey news still to come on Rosen Sports Sunday. A first for the Gopher men's hockey team. We'll explain right after this.
It's really cool. I mean, growing up in Minnesota, you play a lot on the outdoor rinks, and first, second, third grade, you play some games outdoors. But I haven't really played a true outdoor hockey game, and to come to just an unreal stadium like this and play a huge rival like Wisconsin, it's really looking forward to February, and looking forward to it. So.
The Badgers and Gopher men's hockey teams will be playing next February here at Soldier Field in Chicago in the inaugural Hockey City Classic. Yes, this is the first time the Gophers will play in an outdoor game. Miami of Ohio and Notre Dame also play in the event. Back with Darby Hendrickson. I mean, as a player, how exciting is that? I mean, maybe someday we'll get the Wild to play in the Winter Classic, the New Year's Day event.
It'd be awesome. I never had a chance to play in one of those big games, but every fan who's gone to those, I remember a few years back, Detroit and Chicago played at Wrigley Field, and it's truly a special thing. It'd be great if it happened for the Wild.
Darby, thanks so much for stopping by. We'll see you again next Sunday night. Good night, everyone.